All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Stay Alive. (2006's Stay Alive. Lee, had you seen it before?
No, but it's legendary.
It's pretty legendary.
I think you're the one. Someone keeps mentioning this. Whenever
I hope it's not me.
Whenever like a video games or video game movies come up, and you're always like, "Well, this is a horror movie about a video game versus a movie about a horror video game." Like it's this weird distinction. And everyone's like, "No, blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, is that good?" And they're like, "It's not good. Don't watch that movie about this movie." But you love it, I can tell now.
I do not love this movie.
Okay.
It does hit every cliche like possible in an almost humorous way.
Yeah.
It's got some recognizable faces here. We've got Sophia Bush, who we've seen her before. She was the star of The Hitcher that we reviewed not too long ago. Frankie Muniz, of course, you know.
Life is unfair.
I recognize Frankie.
The main character, his brother, was Angel in the X-Men series. That's my claim to fame for him. Who else is there?
What?
There's the guy who gets stabbed in Saving Private Ryan.
What?
Who else is in this movie?
Are you talking about the Hebrew Hammer?
Yeah, I am.
Why did you just say the Hebrew Hammer?
It's not Hanukkah yet.
No dice, Santa. I like my women like I like my matzah. Unleavened.
He's a terrifying. It's like Yudin. That guy is like, you got beaten by a Jew, you motherfucking Nazi.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I forget his name. And the dude who plays Speed.
I want to say something Goldberg, but that might be racist.
His last name is Goldberg. But
Is it?
I don't want to say
so.
it. I didn't want to say it either, because what if I'm wrong? Now I'm anti-Semitic on
Yeah.
top of everything else. And the guy who played Speed in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I don't suppose you know of any rooms for rent, Mr. Speed.
What sort of room are you looking for, Mr. Lincoln?
A cheap one.
Is one of the guys here who's super cringy. But,
Yeah. No, I like him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's perfect in this.
His
but
character is
we will get more into that.
We will have to mention that.
So like overall, did it live up to your cringy expectations?
It does some good things, and then in total, it is not good. It is a bad movie. It is not like well done. Several things get fumbled, and it forgets its own rules and premise. The usual, right?
Yeah.
It starts relatively strong, where I was like, "Oh no, do I like Stay Alive?" And I don't.
Oh no, Peter Petrelli.
It turns out I don't. Yeah. So it's very easy. Yeah.
Yeah. This is not a good movie.
Okay.
It's semi not a good watch, but it will be fun to talk about, I think.
Ringing endorsements.
Indeed. So if you've seen it or don't care, falls over spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Stay Alive.
I noticed you're saying "Stay Alive" instead of "Stay Alive," which is what it is. It's like one word almost.
Why do you say that?
That's how they say it in the movie.
Stay Alive.
It's like "Stay Alive." It's like a weird. It's really weird. I hate it.
Thundergun.
Yeah.
Whatever, I don't care about any of this. We're gonna miss the movie. Hey, Thunder got it up on the curb.
No, I'll never say that.
Like you're saying Thundercats instead of Thundercats. Like it's like one thing.
We're going to Glen Rock.
Yes, the Walmart, the Best Buy. Cut all this. I hate you so much.
So this movie is interesting.
That is a word I would use.
So like from the rip, you start off and like I noticed. I think I caught you off guard when I said Peter Petrelli earlier.
Well, because I was thinking of his brother, the other Petrelli.
Martin Petrelli.
You might as well go ahead and shoot now.
Who's like, "Listen, Peter, I can fly and stuff," and that's just shut up. That guy, who I love.
It's not him. It is the younger brother, it was the start
Who's
off.
like, "Oh, I got powers." That guy.
You would believe could be a main character in this if you knew nothing about the movie, because you're like, oh, I know
It's
this.
Peter Petrelli.
I know this face. This is a person.
Man, sick as shit since Fatal Frame.
And then you quickly realize he has a crazy sex fetish roommate.
Shit, man, don't you knock?
All right, whoops.
Okay, so I want to say I like the way this. I think it's a really strong opening.
Okay.
But it's full of weird things. Okay. Number one, the video game, and number two, the guy's actual death, I thought were strong. The video game looks like it's from its time because it sucks.
Yeah,
and like the aesthetic, the guy with a lantern and you can only see a little bit around it, right? And this whole vibe, and then like there's like a reflection and lightning, and then he dies, and it sucks. I was like, this is like a real fake video game. I like this. It looks like Amnesia or one of those old shitty horror games.
Yeah.
Right? And then when he's actually gonna die and stuff, that fucking noise that they play, that like vibrating noise before you know like what it is, quote unquote. It was awesome. I'm like, this is effective. He's in the kitchen. There's like a shadow, and the shot's like way too long, and he's like, what am I looking at?
Hello? Hello? X?
I was like, this is effective. This is creepy. The noise is good. This is dope or whatever. But in between, there is the weird sex fetish part, which threw me off.
It's so nonchalantly accepted. Like, yes, like, because you don't know that he has roommates at this moment. So it just seems like, oh, there's a noise.
Yeah.
Bursts the door open.
Hey, just do me a favor. Try and throw my pair of sheets, okay?
It's a roommate with a lady.
He says like, try not to mess up my parents' sheets or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening here?
Well, you're like, how old are you supposed to be?
And then he's asleep in a race car bed, and you're like, something's going on. Whatever.
I thought it was hilarious. He like goes, like the power's out, and he's like, better get some milk. And then when there's like a shadowy ghost figure, he's like, and he throws the milk.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah?
That's no one's first impulse. Throw the milk.
That was the only weapon he had. He had to fight back.
Like Brock Sampson. Oh, what's he doing with that? It's the only thing he has.
It's the only weapon he has.
What the? What is he doing with his... Think about it, bro. What other weapon does he have?
Think about it, smart guy. It's the only weapon he's got. Yeah, again, I thought it was pretty strong. Like the neck snap, the chains. I was like, it's a good death. I was like, listen, okay. I say that in the moment, having not watched the rest of the movie yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen or how this all fits together. And I was like, oh, this is all right. And then it immediately shits the bed and sucks and gets worse and worse and worse.
I will say much of the movie for me, including a lot of the opening, felt very like cliche and like oh, we're in a movie. Like it almost felt like you could have panned out of a lot of that and been like, oh, they're watching this movie. Like,
this is the movie within a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. When he calls main character dude and is like, whoa, this movie's this game is so scary. You want to come over like right now?
You gonna make it over here? Can you come over? You want to come over?
Dude, look, I'll come up this weekend.
It's like very funny.
You want to come over? Can we come over?
Come over now? Do you want to come over early? I have some friends fucking upstairs. Yeah. No, it's weird, definitely.
Yeah.
But like of the whole movie, I think the best executed, because you know the least, so it's the most creepy, and that noise, which we'll get to, I'm sure, later on or whatever. But it's about a video game. It's a game. The game. If you die in a game, you die in real life. You see what I'm saying? It's a movie about a game. It's still a game.
Yeah, and if it were as simple as that, I think I could have liked it more.
It's so not simple.
It does not follow its own rules. So you play this game, you read the magic incantational words.
Maybe you're supposed to read that prayer right there.
Just thought. Voice activated? No way. That's next generation technology.
Okay.
Pause. I like that, because I was like, oh, is the game haunted? Like, what the fuck, right? But you have to read a thing. That's what's haunting you, is the fact that you read the words or whatever, right? So, listen, by the end, that isn't it anymore.
Yeah.
But as we're unfolding the story, I'm like, oh, good. We sidestepped the thing of like, is the game haunted? Is there a ghost on each disc? Is it haunting you in the cloud? Is it distributed haunting? They have to connect to Xbox Live to get haunted? What's going on? They skip all that by just having, oh, it's like a pre-release game, and they just read this thing, and then now they're haunted by by the ghost. Not because it's in the game, but because you're reading the thing that's going
to not go into really any details as to like how it came to being and why. It's like, oh, this character who you've heard about. We've heard about this blood-bathing woman, from like the 1600s or whatever. Like,
it's not the same one, but yeah, it's like
I feel like at least the inspiration of this person is something that like, oh yes, we're familiar with this character or whatever.
Absolutely.
This, that, the other thing. But then like where the magic comes into play, we don't ever get explained. Like, okay, yes, she's just a horrible person, a haunting, cool, but why these magical words? Why that?
Oh, yeah.
If she was just like walled in and left to die, why is she in like a fancy bedroom? Like,
no, it feels like there's stuff cut from when they eventually catch up with the game designer. There's a lot of
because there's no overlap there, and like the game designer is the creepiest dude ever. He is the inverse of Angelina Jolie.
What are you doing in my house?
I'm sorry. I thought nobody was here.
And you're such a weird human being, and I'm 95% positive that's her actual brother.
Wow.
They look like an inverted version of each other.
That, but I love it.
But what I'm saying is, like, you wanted something with, like, oh, he studies deep into the occult, and his plan is to this and that, and he's using this to gain power or something. But when you skip anything like that, you're like, why is anything happening?
So like, they just take a detour and then he's dead.
Are you saying this has something to do with me? Is that what you're saying?
As opposed to him secretly like showing up wearing like a cultist robe and being like, I'm into this whole thing. No, he just sends them to the Borg Queen.
The young girl's fresh blood made her skin softer, younger.
Like the fountain of youth.
Thus began her obsession.
Who then explains the actual backstory of the movie and what's
so
happening.
Like, what could have been nice here is if Peter Petrelli stole the game and he's playing it, and really our dude here is using this as a way, like, oh no, I'm killing off all my competition in the game so I can rise into this thing, and like, oh, I'm gonna sell this thing, some reason why this game designer and people that play the game are dying, but there's nothing, there's no correlation, like, at all.
Okay, so like, I'm not sure if this is what you meant by this, but this is one of my major points, is that there's no ambiguity whatsoever for anyone at like any point. The cops think that the kid is just killing people.
There must be a connection.
Oh yeah, there is, Hutch.
Look, I already told you.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but it's very clear to the audience and everyone else that this is like a ghost and it's like supernatural. I really like and like, I've made fun of horror movies for doing this, where it's like, wow, for an hour you just tease me, and then at the end you flip a coin. It's like, oh, it was a guy with a knife, and then you go back like, wait, doesn't make any sense. Guy with a knife can't do this, right? But here, there's literally no pretense. There's no suspects. Because they should go to the game designer being like, he must be the one killing them. But they don't even say that. They just go, we have to ask him about the legend of the thing. Like, it's like, what the like there's no anything.
That's what it's like, so Scooby-Doo color by numbers bullshit, because they go to the game designer, and aside from the fact that they broke into his house and he's kind of okay with that, he's like, there's a woman, she wrote a book pretty recently, she'll help you.
There's a book that was written by a local author some time ago. She's not too hard to track down. I think she might be able to help you.
And you're like, wait, what? Why are you sending, like,
they're on a quest.
Yeah, it just felt so, like, for a movie that has the level of people that are in this movie, because at this time especially, these are big stars.
Abraham.
I'm like, okay, what? Like, why would this happen? It doesn't make any sense. Well, that you could put this much money into something and then cut it down to be like a PG-13 because, like, oh, we want it to be for all the kids. Like, why are you even making a ghost slasher movie in the first place?
Horror movies are made for idiots.
Yeah.
And they think that they can just serve up whatever slop they have at the ready, and everyone will just eat it up greedily.
I can't remember, I remember all my friends saw this, and not that we all went at the same time, but like we independently saw this movie and talked theatrically. So like they got my money, and we all walked out with like, what the fuck was that? Like, what did we just watch?
And did you love it?
Well, because it goes through these things that, like you said, there's concepts that are very cool. But they don't make any sense. Oh, I'll drop a crowbar. Oh, there's one in real life now. Like, what? How the fuck did that happen?
I need a crowbar or something.
Did you see one on the step?
You gotta be kidding me.
So like I don't actually know what happened there, whether you're right or wrong about that, but I did like how he's like guiding him through the real house and he's in the game house. Frankie Muniz.
That would be cool if they did it a different way. And then he would have like pressed pause select and it showed a map and he was doing that. That would have been cool.
Well, he's like running through. He can
but the problem is
there should be a staircase to the right and the kitchen to the left.
Oh, what's going on, Swink? How do you know all this?
Just pay attention. All right, go through the kitchen and out the back door.
No, yes. Right. But the problem is the only other time we see the game is when they're in that same area and there's a million bad guys trying to kill him.
Sweet Jesus, these dead bitches are coming out in droves. Miller, that's it. The fast range zone right in front of you. Do not close the door, man. Do not close the door, Miller! Oh my God!
But not one bad guy. The game isn't actually happening while he's in it. And that's a flaw.
Way too deep to get into.
There should have been like miscommunications where he's like, all right, oh fuck, and like he has to deal with some shit.
Listen,
something should be
we
happening.
don't have that kind of budget. But when he uses the key and then like the door really opens.
Wait, I have a key.
This is fucking insane.
That kind of stuff is fun.
And they both say like, what the fuck is going on? Like it's like seems crazy even to them.
He saves them by throwing flowers at one point in the game and stops it in real life.
And the roses thing is weird for a lot of reasons that we'll definitely address in like 20 seconds. But first, I like that they get consumed at least. I thought it was weird to like use them and then be like, I'll just pick it up and use it again. But like in real life, they also burn / melt and like disappear.
That is fun.
And I was like, okay, good. At least they're doing that.
I like that rose thing just is like, oh yeah. Oh, everyone knows when you throw a rose, they fucking have to count the stem or something, like some stupid shit.
It'll give us a chance to escape a ghost if we can't face it.
Yeah, the undead can't cross the twig of a wild rose.
That is what you learn when you read too much goth chick lit. You should lay off the incense, sister.
They like cannot cross the rose, but apparently they can destroy it, or the rose's power withers it instantly. Something, and I figured you would be like, well, how long does that work for? What's the cooldown?
1 second.
The ghosts can just come back later. So what is the good of the? What is it doing exactly? There's a lot of problems here that I think horror games even have a lot of these same problems. Except you have like a heads-up display with like an inventory and you can count. I have 7 roses left. I can use them or something.
I remember when Frankie Muniz dies.
The fake.
I remember being in the thing going like, do they not count if they're still attached to the fucking plant? This seems fucking ridiculous. He had at least 30 seconds. He couldn't have thrown one. So when he came back, I was like, fucking A.
Well, but
why did his character die in the game?
Yeah, so they don't even see his real body, which is like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But they see the screen that says game over, and he's like in a bunch of roses, and they just go, well, I guess. But then why did the game over if he's not actually dead, right?
Well, the game's not following its own rules, and I love when Frankie calls it out. He's like, I'm not dead yet, bitch.
Oh shit! Bitch, that's cheating. I'm not dead yet.
Like she was coming for him, period.
Does he say like, oh, like that's cheating or something?
Yeah.
He says some line. Yes,
cheating,
good.
You bitch.
No, and that's good because like at the end of the day, some of the ways things happen, I'm just like, it's a day later or a minute later, or why are you killing them that way, and what's happening?
When Phineas dies,
that is the worst.
He wasn't in the game. His character didn't die, and he gets ran over by a horse.
That is the worst thing I have ever seen. The effect of him dying and tumbling.
That's the worst thing?
No, but one of the, I mean, the worst thing that I can remember seeing.
Okay.
Like, it's horrible. It's literally horrible.
It's not good.
And the whole thing, they have the audacity to do this, like, overhead time-lapse shot of, like, the ambulance arriving and them putting the little evidence flags around his body and doing all the thing. Like, oh, we're an artsy real movie now. And I'm like, you are not. We both know that. Stop insulting me.
I was just thinking, like, it's been like 10 minutes since he died. They just put a white sheet on him. No blood soaks through. I'm like, come on, man. Let me get a little blood. Oh, PG. Fuck you.
Well, and like the cops seem to know that he was run over by like a horse and carriage thing, and I'm like, that must look different from being hit by a car, but why would you conclude that from the crime scene? That's an autopsy thing. It's very nitpicky, but it's very shitty.
They very carefully did not show very much of this thing.
Yes.
Like he very well might have been covered in like the little C
Clump
gallops,
marks or something.
I don't know.
I think you just turn into cheeseburger. You don't like have clomp marks.
I don't know.
With like the serial number of the horseshoe blacksmith on your face.
Well, they would have filed off the serial numbers.
Duh.
This is a
we can't leave a paper trail.
Yeah, it just, a lot of that stuff just rubs me the wrong way because it just feels like, I hate ghost movies in general because I'm like, the rules are never locked in. They always just play it fast and loose, and whatever is convenient for the moment, it changes. Well, everything's usually an assumption until it's not.
No, and
in this, though, it seemed like it was pretty well defined because it's a game, and you either read this stuff off screen, but it seemed like they literally knew what was happening, and then it was not happening that way.
We will get to the ending in a moment, but before that, before I forget, even the structure of the movie seems like they had a problem at some point or something. They introduced this blonde chick who's new to like the friend group.
What's her name, Abigail or something?
October, fellas, this is Abigail. She's kind of a friend of Loomis's. She's going to hang out for a while.
please don't say any names for the rest of this review. I don't know anyone's name, which is weird.
Yeah.
But so like the blonde chick's new and she's from out of town. She's lied about who she is. She meets the main character, was taking his picture at the funeral. Like, you're the saddest, but you're not crying. Like all this fucking. I'm like, okay, something is happening. Something is happening.
She seems like a plant. Like, oh, are you the killer?
Or guess what? She'd be great as the one who knows the legend. Because you're from like Georgia or something. Oh yeah, the plantation where she was killing the people. Just, something. Instead, the brunette chick, who's been a part of the friend group for the entire time, is the one who's like, I've been reading this book. We got to use nails and fire, and this is how it works. And
her human spirit back into her body, and then this is really, really important, you guys. An undead soul is only cleansed by burning its blood.
And I have all this stuff. I'm like, why are you introducing another character from the outside just to have one of the core characters?
The blonde girl character feels so weird to be introduced, period. It was just like, okay, we need a love interest and we don't want, Sophia Bush says she has a boyfriend right now and won't kiss him or something.
Like, what's going on?
It felt very strange because what does she, why was she even at the funeral? She never even, it says how she knew the dead guy. She goes there and just folds into their friend group so quickly.
She must be told facts about all of them as if she doesn't know any of that. But she knew the dead people or something. Maybe she knew the ones in the bedroom, but they know him a lot. It doesn't make any sense. That's my point, is like structurally, you're like expecting certain things to happen, and not everything happens that you might expect in most movies, but still, they're like wasting opportunities and they're picking the wrong character to be the guy who's good at this or bad at that or something. It's also sloppy.
I don't know if I breezed over it and just missed it, but I felt like they didn't say that the roommates were even playing the game until like 90% of the way through the movie. No, for a while I'm like, this ghost just kills whoever he fucking wants.
I know this. When he stumbles in upon them having sex, he says like, I found you,
I found your dead body.
I found you all in the game. You got it good. And they're like, we haven't played for hours.
I found you guys in the game. You got it good. We haven't played for hours.
And then like,
now I do remember that actually.
Yeah, but then like the awkward jokes of like, so what are you doing? Like leave or whatever, right? Which is the whole thing.
Yeah, he does linger for quite some time there.
There's a whole movie's worth
of the friend doesn't even stop.
So, what's up? What's next? You want to watch or?
No, if you notice, he's like still going.
He's doing a little, keeping it. He's idling the engine a little bit there. Yeah, no, which is like, that implies.
Very strange.
That implies that all three of these people have been in this situation before.
I don't know, they never stopped.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Something's going on here.
No, it was,
because she chimes in like, we gotta get you a woman or something. Like,
Luma, sweetie, we have got to get you a woman.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be sassy. It's like, what's happening?
She's being coitus and is chiming in with quips.
You're mid-coitus. You're mid-coit.
Oi.
That's not even possible.
Yes, it is. Sir, technically, anybody can have to do it.
Really, every part of that funeral is just like, we just need this movie to keep going. We'll introduce this character. Hey, I'm her sister. I'm the dead guy's sister. Here's a bag full of video games. My parents were gonna throw it away. I assumed you would be here, so I brought games for my brother's funeral. I'm fine though. Here you go.
See ya.
It just felt. I'm like, yep. We're just checking the boxes here. We just need this movie to progress.
No, it's crazy because it feels like it should be building towards something. Like, I expected this movie to end where like they have to do a thing in the game while they're doing something in real life, and some crazy thing is happening where you're like, whoa, this is whatever. And like they literally just like at a certain point they're like, we're never gonna show the game again, and we're just gonna do this thing on our own.
Yeah, you kind of expected like a How to Make a Monster style ending where like Frankie is fighting her to distract her while you're fucking nailing her and shit. Like something's going down.
Which they set precedent for. Yeah. Because he had thrown the roses, and then the main character shows up in like right at the last minute. Yeah. And he saves her and stuff. So you're like, so just like you're teaching me about the door and the layout of the house and the roses, that everything overlaps. So you must be teaching me this for a reason, so that later it will pay off in this finale way. And
it really doesn't.
They're totally unconcerned with that.
And like Frankie Muniz as a character I like in general, and they're trying to play off of his like Malcolm street cred where he's just this obnoxiously smart character, but not written in any way as interesting or fun as his Malcolm character.
If you think about it, the coincidence of finding Miller's game body and its similarity to the actual finding of his real body was quite perfect. That's why we're all so freaked out.
And then the main character is very flat for me. I don't really care about him at all. Yeah. He has the token like, fire, oh my god, I'm scared of fire, oh fire, oh it's not.
Lighter works. Gorgeous.
There, yeah, you can keep that if you like.
In one scene, though, they show that he has scars.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was nice.
I'm giving them all the credit that I can.
It's that token fear of fire thing is in so many things, and it's always played the exact same way. So there's nothing interesting about that.
So here's the thing. Yeah, there's fire in the finale when they kill the corpse of the Countess ghost. But like, what does that mean then? Let's pretend we're making a movie that's supposed to like say something, mean something, or just create things to pay off later. So what is this like? Oh, fire was bad because your mom died in a fire. Now there's a bad lady, and sometimes fire's good. Like, what are we trying to do with this?
It's cutting back to his like as a child crying that same position where he was helpless. It's like, but we already established. You said, oh, if I was a little older, I could have done something. And here you are a little older. You started this fire. You should be empowered, not crippled on the ground. And it shouldn't take the smallest character in the movie to kick the door down and save you.
His friends come in to help him, and then you're like, so it's about friends? So when you were a kid, you should have had your friends come over to beat up your dad who was setting your mom on fire? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Like, yes, there's no moment where he has to push through and like jump through some flames to get out or to save the love interest.
Yeah.
Nothing is constructed.
That's what it should have been.
I know.
It should have been, that exact thing where it frames the same way where he saves the girlfriend now where he could not have saved his mother, but they don't do that.
I forgot that it even ended that way because in my head, I just drift back towards like the normal way to end a movie. I forgot that it's just him. Yes, and he shows the laptop to do the reflection thing or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Alienware product placement.
Sponsored by Alienware. Hashtag not sponsored this, but that. They set this up where it's like, oh, she can't break it if it's just a shiny thing and not a mirror. Earlier in the movie, just for this payoff, where he just holds the laptop up and she screams and it basically does nothing. It just lets them start the fire, I guess. It does nothing. I was like, oh, she's gonna break the laptop, and like the game disc is in the laptop. I was doing all this math, like, oh, what's gonna happen?
You fool!
And then nothing happened.
Stupid idiot.
I know. I feel like a chump.
I love that when this all ends, like, we did it. Friends for life. We're getting married. Hell yeah. Woo! You're going to jail, motherfucker. You just murdered all these people. Like they're 100% going to jail.
This is the ultimate. Like a lot of movies joke about that, where they're like, "Oh, the movie just ends. It's like fun or whatever." But yeah, the cops are on the way. They already think that they're guilty.
Have evaded police already. The police have their number. They're going to jail.
Come on, if you don't want to go to jail, we got to go now, Swing. Jail? Now! Come on!
It isn't like there's less dead people or more answers.
Now there's fire. There's more dead people.
It's just a big mess.
That cop that died, I was laughing because I was like, what is this game? It's like an online game, and they're constantly playing it just wherever they are because it's magic also.
Makes no
and
sense,
I'm like, okay, I really just need rules and logic and things because that would have been a fun thing too. Like, oh, we're using my like data card. Oh no, I'm lagging, guys. Oh no, and like he's gonna die because he's lagging out or something. Would have been fun.
Oh my god.
But it's
something.
Like, it's the time period, like yes, while the game does look the time period, that doesn't hold up as fun for me now. I'm like, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
And like you think back to how many games you played look like shit, or you couldn't see, and that's why it was scary.
At least tell us what you see before you book it out of there. Some sort of sick torture room or... God, man. I just saw a flash of dead girls or...
Like, what is happening? It's
what
dark.
Is happening?
And that's like life.
That's why the noise really pulls it together for me. Because I was like, without a spooky, and that's a unique, uncanny noise I've never heard before. Now, they reveal it fairly early on to be the vibration of a controller.
Or a phone.
Yes, of something, right? Even though that's not how things sound when they vibrate alone, there's like an added like rumbly, like scary noise to it or something like that.
Well, like,
but it's still
the controller one, the phone, those had a different sound, but they played the same sound effect. But the controller rumbling on the ground, that that used to get me because it would happen like you'd like leave your like PlayStation on like the I don't know, whatever setting, and eventually a video would start to play, and something would happen, and it would vibrate, and you'd be like, "The fuck is that?"
Right. So like they've added to it though. They've made it like spookier and stuff.
Yeah.
So like
make a movie.
So they show a scene where the Hebrew Hammer reaches over and touches the controller and picks it up and it stops the noise.
Yeah.
Right. What I wanted was for the noise to happen again while he's holding the controller and it's not vibrating anymore. Right. To be like, oh no, that's just the noise of your impending doom, but it's like expressing itself through the controller. As well because the game is like killing you now or something.
I
wanted something to happen.
artistic integrity to give us something like that.
And nothing happens at the end where like the noise. So okay, sometimes the noise happens when there's obviously no controllers there. It's not literally the controller, and that's what's weird about it. Where I'm like, okay, so like he thought he was hearing that noise, but then touched the controller. Obviously, you would play the noise again to tell the audience, oh, it's not the controller. It just kind of sounds similar.
Yeah, the bleeding between the worlds of like the ghost. The actual game footage in reality. And the game is such a weird thing because when it's they do the stereotypical like Gothica or the ring walk where like the legs go before the arms and like they crawl across the ground and stuff, and I'm like, okay, you're checking more boxes.
The little bad guys and stuff.
I assume the dead concubines, whatever they are.
There's like creepy babies and like part of that rings true to me because I'm not a horror game guy, so I'm like, yeah, the bad the bad guy is always something where if you just saw a picture of it, you're like, that sucks, but like in the game, it's like it's like jumping out, it's scarier and stuff. So yeah, it's like weird babies and weird whatever mistresses and stuff.
Yeah, I assume it was all the children that they let the blood out of because I'm like, what else would it be?
No, it's linked in with the thing, but yes.
What about the ending?
Okay, I was gonna say because like that kind of ties into that. The ending. The ending is the game has now been released.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be a problem. And I'm like, no, you killed the Countess. You killed the real Countess. Yeah. Does everyone have to do this who reads the incantation? Does it reset every time someone reads it?
And I had two takes on this. Where one, I was like, what the still, how is this even happening? What are you doing? And then they're reading the original reading from our main characters is playing during that thing, like during the voiceover for the video of the game.
Come to me, clouds. Then you rise as an evil storm born to rip them open.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me here? They're like, souls are in the game. Are you trying to tell me they developed this game now? They took the thing and they said, we're going to run with it and make the thing? Because Frankie Muniz' voice is so pronounced. Like, I'm like, okay, that's our, the group reading that is our group reading that.
Cleanse me, preserving beauty eternal, I pray you.
What does that mean to me? Nothing? Are you lazy?
Wait. Yes,
is it anything?
Yes, I was going to say, so like, I didn't even pick that up. Because I'm, in addition to being face blind, I'm also voice blind.
You might just be blind and deaf.
my ears are voice blind, so I didn't pick up. So like, my assumption is, because they're doing like a montage of gamers like reading it, right? At the end, they're cutting between different people or something.
I think that was all just the core group, yeah.
No, but like,
oh, yes.
They're trying to say, oh, it's Christmas. Everyone's opening the game and reading the incantation, right? But they didn't have audio of that. So they just took the audio from earlier when the group reads it and played it again.
Maybe.
I'm assuming that's what the technical explanation is.
And if they didn't put Frankie in there, I might not have picked it up. But his voice is like, I'm like, I saw a million seasons of Malcolm in the Middle. I know that voice anywhere.
Sounds like a you problem.
I love, though, that like they're like, we need information. I got to get information about this game, the manufacturer, the blah, blah. I'm going to go to a local GameStop. Hey, you, drug addict.
Hey, you, obvious drug addict.
Can you tell me about this? I don't know about it. Nobody knows about it. It's not a real thing. It must be underground.
I need information on a horror game called Stay Alive.
Stay Alive? Never heard of it. Maybe it's underground. Do you know who made it?
He says it's might be an underground game. And he walks out and he's telling his boss, it's an underground game or something. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's amazing.
Absolutely ludicrous.
It's like a seance or...
Can we skip this bullshit cinematic foreplay? I wanna fuck!
Another trope that just pisses me off, it's in every fucking horror movie, is nail guns. I hate
It didn't work though.
No, it didn't work, as in it didn't kill her. Shit. She fired 3 nails at it.
Yeah.
That's not how nail guns work.
I think that you think this is a movie problem, but I think it's a nail gun problem for you. Because in movies, that's how nail guns work.
That's not... It drives me nuts because it's kind of like silencers in movies. I think movies did something once. Somebody watched a movie and then wrote something and so on and so forth, and they believe these things.
Literally.
There are safety mechanisms. You can't fire a nail gun unless it is suppressed against something. You can beat this by holding the suppressor.
I think that I can save you a lot of torture.
You will not.
Just imagine that all movies take place in this alternate universe called a movie, and silencers make guns, so like you can be sleeping, a baby can be sleeping, and you can cap the baby next to it in the ICU, and no one knows, right? Because it's a fucking movie.
Me nuts.
Stop driving.
Because it's just a series of people that just don't know. Ignorance is.
Most people
runs
don't
wild.
know.
I know, but it makes
Listen,
other people think these things.
If you were a geologist, you would never be able to watch a volcano movie.
Of course not.
So clear your mind.
But this is my problem. Is as a person who's not a geologist, and now if someone references something about volcanoes, my only frame of reference is from a movie that has taught me incorrectly something. If we could just get on the same page and teach people about things through movies, the thing that is most likely to where they're going to walk away thinking they know something.
Do you think that the purpose of movies is not to instruct people, but rather to entertain people?
I think you can do both.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Well, because honestly, let's just refilm that whole scene.
You've gotten a second win.
And all she does is do this.
Yeah.
Does it change anything about the scene except make it correct?
Yes, it opens up liability to the movie company for teaching people how to fire nails out of a nail gun in real life.
That's fine.
Done. I solved the case.
It's just not possible. I didn't play. None of us did.
But if nobody played the game, that means
The game's playing by itself.
Let's talk.
Now about volcanoes.
Dante's.
I was just gonna say that old bitch has gotten her legs burned up in Dante's Inferno Peak. I forgot the name. What's that? Dante's Peak? Dante's Inferno.
Back to this movie. Okay, so the Hebrew Hammer's death. That bothered me in many ways, most of which because why is his office door open?
Well, hey, somebody out there?
Why would it be open?
He runs the place.
I don't care. He's doing drugs. That means openly.
Bill, you there?
Oh, fuck that burns. No, I'm here.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay.
Okay, so like you're hinting at it. He's a baller, all right?
He is a baller.
He's a
baller.
I don't know how old he's supposed to be. I picture like 38, 42, something like he's pushing in deep. He's deep into his 30s, if anything. Right?
I was picturing 32 to 36.
You think he's like an entrepreneur?
Yeah, because he went to the other kid who I think is supposed to be younger. So he's like, man, there's no reason you can't be in my position or something like that. Like, I think that they're in a ballpark similar age.
Okay, because it's not like the Twilight Zone where when you're 36 you look like my grandfather did at the time
No, because it wasn't like his friends were like, you're bringing your old boss. Like
they joke, you like, oh, you dirty old man. They do like a thing to like needle him a little. He's older than them by some amount. It's ambiguous, but he's a baller because he's like lying to his wife to do coke and play video games.
Yeah, now Loretta called my wife, told her I got caught up in a partner meeting.
That's the life. That's living, man. That's how you do it.
Oh, it's so not the life. It was actually his death.
When he goes on his rant, he's like smoking a cigarette. He's like, you know what they say, like, you know, you start playing the game, you start seeing things. That's probably it, right? I'm just seeing things.
You know what they say, you know, you play the game too long, you know, you start seeing shit, you know, or have seizures.
And then
he's a really good actor.
And then Frankie Muniz has to be like, yeah, retinal memory, and they just like smack him. Shut up.
Yeah, everything
like,
he says in this movie is fucking obnoxious and terrible.
But it's only a theory, of course. But then there's, you know, retinal memory, which, you know.
That is so fascinating, sweetie, but I'm kind of feeling like we should call it a night.
Yeah, someone's got to be at work.
But then, yes, his actual death is
it just.
It's
so much of their video game style is infuriating, honestly. Because
listen.
Often they're not touching their controllers.
What are you doing, man?
They're not looking. This is a game where things surprise and jump you, and you would die very quickly.
I just want to say though that his actual death might be the worst. Because it just cuts to his face going, ah! And then like plays weird quick frames of like death and stuff. I mean, like, you don't see
the mirror broke, it must be a demon.
But you don't see anything. He just screams into nothing.
Honestly, do you see much ever, honestly?
I mean, like, you see the guy's neck, like, like the chain
and we
stuff.
watched, like, the extended director's edition, where, like, 15 minutes of footage you couldn't see are put into it.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Cut that out.
I think they cut out every death scene. Like, you probably just picked up afterward where they're draping the bodies.
Listen, no, but, like, I don't even know. Okay. A lot of the deaths that you do see are, like, horrible. But there's a way to show nothing well.
Yeah.
And, like, that was just it's literally just someone screaming into a black void, and then, you know, something happened.
But think of even, deaths that, like, we watched happen, like Sophia Bush's character, October, which is call her Wednesday already.
Whoa, shots fired.
So
the entire month of October is on blast now.
So she's strung up and like gets her neck slashed.
Go fuck yourself.
But even that is in the most unsatisfying way possible
Well, you don't
to
see,
not show anything.
You just see the blood.
You
falling
see chocolate
and
syrup fall on her face.
Normal. That's how a movie would kill somebody.
But this is a horror movie.
I just want to see something, okay?
It just a lot of it. I think the reason it's not good is because they really they tried so hard to get a lower rank audience that you lost everybody. Because
I feel like they rushed through whatever they did film that was going to be unrated because they were like, we're cutting this out anyway. There was some weird.
I wonder at what
something.
point that
know.
decision got made. Yeah.
Because I think they almost all suck, and I can't imagine what you would have had to have cut out of the earlier stuff that that we saw.
Yeah. No. Unsatisfying.
Shabbat shalom, motherfuckers!
They gave Frankie, Malcolm, and the Munez, I don't know how to say his name. Munez? Munez.
Yeah.
Munez.
Sure.
I'm putting a tilde in there.
Do it.
My man, they gave him the title drop.
All right, buddy, you know what to do. Stay alive.
He says, yeah, stay alive. At one point, it's like, oh my God. That's great. All credits to Frankie.
It's not great.
He stole the show.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Where the fuck is my brother?
Close your eyes, I want to ride the skies in my sweet dream.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.